Hi friends, it's Lisa Hetrick, illustrator for Gina K Designs, and I'm so grateful you could join me today. I have a super fun mini holiday card that I'm going to be sharing with you today based off of the inspiration of this card that I created. And I'm just going to change it up a little bit with a brand new color palette that's festive but fun, and I'm using my Something Good stamp set and really making the wood slice the star of the show, and just kind of nesting some of the other floral elements around and creating a poinsettia out of the large stamp floral here that's line art. So we're going to have some fun with this and talk a little bit about two-step stamping and some other techniques. And I'm using the sentiment from the Fruit of the Season kit, wishing you a joyous Christmas. So here are the colors that I'm going to be using today. I have Innocent Pink, Grass Green, Sandy Beach, and Red Velvet here that I'm going to be using in this project. These colors work really well together. They kind of have the same tones to their palette, so they're also really great whimsical Christmas colors, I think, and holiday season colors. And this project is super simple, so it's going to come together real quick. So I have some scissors, because yes, there will be fussy cutting. I've got my Connect glue, and I'm keeping it super simple with a piece of craft cardstock and a piece of the Gina K white layering cardstock for my layer. This card doesn't have a lot of layers going on. We only have one little embellishment that's going to be popped up, and we're just keeping it super simple. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started by stamping out the poinsettia embellishment. I'm going to talk a little bit about the two-step stamping for this poinsettia. So I'm just inking the stamp up in the red velvet. And I love this color from Gina K. I love the cherry red too, but the red velvet just kind of has a little bit of a different tone, and it's just a little bit more on the whimsical side for me. It goes really well with the Innocent Pink, and I just love it. So I'm going to clean off the stamp just to kind of get a little bit of that red velvet off, because that will stain the stamp a little bit, but I don't mind. It works for me. And I'm just going to grab the solid floral bud piece that I've used several times for two-step stamping, and I'm going to do some two-step stamping inside of this floral element. So I'm using the Innocent Pink and just inking it up and just rotating the flower around and just going around 3 to 4 times just to kind of get some color inside of that flower. And it really does look like a poinsettia because it's just kind of got a couple layers here. I'm just going to add a couple different things to it in the end, just to kind of make it pop a little bit. Grabbing my scissors and just going to fussy cut this embellishment out, and just set it to the side while we go ahead and move on and work on the main wood slice image. So I've got the wood slice, I've got it in my MISTI. You don't need the MISTI at all, but I just kind of popped it in there. And I'm inking up the wood slice with some Sandy Beach and just going around the edges of the wood slice with some red velvet, just to get a little bit of two-tone coloring here, and just went ahead and stamped that down. So you can see we've got a little bit of two-tone in the wood slice, and that just kind of adds to the whimsical element of like the holiday season colors. Okay, so now it's time to just kind of create the base layers that are going to go underneath and around the wood slice to kind of finish off this whole Christmas and holiday look. So I'm taking a little bit of the grass green on this stamp right here. This stamp kind of has stems and little berries at the end. So I just inked it up with some grass green and then took a little bit of that red velvet and just inked up those little berries to get a little bit of a two-tone look. You could also do this with your markers. You could do it with any kind of water-based marker. But I'm going rogue here, and I'm just using my ink pads to create that look. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do it again here and just nest that, have one coming out in the other direction. And this is so super simple. Just taking the grass green, inking up those little stems and then adding a little bit of the red velvet in the berry area, so you get that whole two-toned look with the stamp. And I'm just kind of digging it, and it's super simple, and it's big on wow factor. Okay, so the other leaf image, this leaf image is perfect with the stems and the leaves, and I'm just inking that up in the grass green, and I'm just going to stamp it 3 times around the bottom and the base of the wood slice. And as these pieces come together, they layer, and they kind of start to look a little bit like spruce greens or holiday greens. So the more you layer them, the more you can get that dense look of like a holiday greens. And I just love it. And it's super simple to kind of use the wood slice as your guide to just stamp it around in the circle. And it's very organic in its shape, and it's just so much fun. Okay, so I grabbed the Innocent Pink and the flower bud, my favorite little flower bud. And the funny thing about this flower bud is that it's based off of one of the paintings that watercolor paintings that I've done, and it's based off of a brush stroke that I do with my watercolor brushes. So I just kind of love it. It's very versatile as a stamp. You've seen me do different things with it. It's a perfect little bud, but it can also create a whole different flower. Okay, so I'm just adding that little bud in, as if they were just like little poinsettia buds, just kind of nest in the spruce and the green there. And I'm digging that idea. I just really like it. It just adds a lot of extra texture and dimension. You can start to see what's coming forward on the card, what's going backward on the card, and I really like it. Okay, instead of using the green, I'm going to pop the sentiment in here with the red velvet, and I'm not so sure about it, if I'm going to like it or not. It's very different for me to not do a sentiment in black or the amalgam, but I'm kind of digging it. So I'm going to go ahead and get the base attached to the craft cardstock base, and I'm using the Connect glue because, again, it gives me a little time to move things around and just kind of shimmy everything on there. So this card is so cute and so super simple. It would be perfect to give to a coworker, a friend, or just drop in the gift bag. Just super fun and super easy to come together. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit of Connect glue and attach that poinsettia piece there, and it just kind of sticks off the edge a little bit, and that's okay. It kind of gives it a little bit more of an organic look. It's just sticking off the edge. Okay, I've got some Nuvo drops here in a cranberry and a white, and I'm adding a little bit of the white to the center, just little white dots, just to kind of mimic that look and feel of the poinsettia. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of that cranberry Nuvo drop into the center. I tend to use really simple embellishments that don't add a lot of height to my cards, leaving the stamps be the star of the show. So here's the card on the right that was the inspiration for the new card on the left, and a completely different color palette. I'm kind of digging it despite me not using black for the sentiment. I'm pretty okay with it. And it was touch and go. I really didn't think I was going to love it. But here's a final look at the card. I hope you enjoyed today's card tutorial. Thanks so much for joining me. Please consider sharing the joy by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.